Those yellow lines stay, Caleb. The HOA just turned your driveway into resident parking.
Then warn every resident right now. Any car left on my property is getting towed.
Tow even one car, and you'll have the entire HOA coming after you.
So here's what happened. They painted parking lines on my driveway. Not just like near it, not accidentally over the line. They painted right on it bright yellow stripes, numbered stalls like I suddenly opened a public garage without even knowing it. And by the time I got home that Friday evening, there were already 3 cars parked in those stalls like they had been invited. It was absurd. I remember sitting there in my truck, engine still running, hands gripping the wheel, just staring at it. Only that morning, I had been mowing the grass beside that same driveway, never imagining that someone was about to turn it into a public parking lot. I was trying to decide if I was just tired or if I was losing my mind. Let me back up a little. My name's Caleb Turner. I live out on the edge of Cedar Ridge, Ohio, in a small house my dad helped me build 15 years ago. Nothing fancy, just a square practical place with a detached garage and a metal shop where I fix small engines and do custom woodworking on the side. The driveway's wide concrete, runs along the side of the property from the main road all the way to the shop. It was built long before any townhouse development popped up next door. And let me tell you, this driveway is mine. It's legally mine. Property taxes are paid every year. I even complain about them every April. I've got the paperwork to prove it. And then about 5 years ago, they sold the empty lot next door to a developer. They slapped up 12 of those narrow townhouses, all beige and gray with tiny garages that barely fit a car and a lawnmower. And of course, they formed an HOA pretty quickly. At first, I didn't care. I wasn't part of it. My property's older, standalone, no shared utilities, no shared roads. It was clear on the plat map. But over time, parking started to become an issue. You could see it building up month by month. Extra cars, guests parking sideways, trash day, looking like a dealership overflow lot. I'd hear snippets whenever I was outside, someone arguing about parking, another person saying the board had to do something. But it never bothered me. At least I thought it wouldn't. I thought it had nothing to do with me. Then one Friday, I pulled into my driveway after work and saw it. Fresh yellow paint reflecting in my headlights. I thought it had to be some kind of mistake. Maybe the contractor had the wrong address. Maybe they meant to paint the street for the townhouses. But then I saw the numbers. 789 stenciled in clean white inside yellow boxes right near my garage door. Resident parking only. I actually laughed. I laughed because, are you serious? That's bold. There was no room for me to park without squeezing past the cars, so I parked on the grass. I got out and walked down the driveway to where the concrete met the grass, crouched down and brushed some dirt off the survey pin that's been there since 2008. It was still there, still mine. And that's when Trent Hollis, one of the townhome owners, walked out onto his porch. "Hey Caleb." He called out casually. "Looks good, right? Finally some order." "Order?" I just stood there. "Yeah, that's real funny, Trent. This is my driveway," I told him. He gave me that half shrug people give when they're trying to avoid conflict but not give up ground. "Well, the board said it's basically an extension of the shared access," he said. I stared at him. "Runs along the block," he added. "Runs along doesn't mean belongs to," I said. He kind of raised his hands, like, "Don't shoot the messenger." "Take it up with Marcus," he said. Marcus Dane, the HOA president. Mid-40s finance job, polo shirts, always talking about the bylaws. Yeah, real fun guy to deal with. I didn't knock on doors that night. Instead, I went inside, poured a glass of water, and just sat at my kitchen table staring out the window. Every time headlights turned into my driveway, it felt like something was building up inside me, this low, gnawing feeling. It wasn't just about the paint, it was about the assumption, you know. The idea that if enough people want something, they can just take it. That yellow paint could just erase years of property lines and legal boundaries. Saturday morning, I walked outside with my coffee, and bam, a silver sedan was parked crossways at the entrance, blocking the entire path to the road. Not just inconvenient, impassable. And that was the moment. The moment I realized they didn't think it was mine. They thought if they acted like it wasn't mine, eventually it wouldn't be. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to wait for the next board meeting. I set the coffee down on the hood of my truck, just stood there staring at that sedan. For a moment I thought about knocking on doors again, trying to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Maybe someone made a mistake. But then I remembered Marcus's voice. For the greater good. Be patient. No one had been patient with me. I knocked on doors. First a woman in slippers. "Oh, that's not your driveway anymore," she said. "I thought the HOA designated it." I couldn't believe it. I told her it was still my driveway and right now it was blocked. She just shook her head and closed the door. Next door a college-age kid answered. "Pretty sure it's fine," he said, already backing away. "Talk to the board." No one had a clue what was going on, and no one cared. That's when I snapped. I went inside, grabbed the deed and survey, and called the towing company, Ridgeway Towing. A gruff voice answered. I told them about the unauthorized vehicles blocking my property. The guy asked if I was the property owner. I said, "Yes, sir," and he asked for the address. "We'll send 2 trucks. Before those tow trucks arrive, tell me, would you give the HOA one last warning or have every car removed immediately? Comment, tow them, if Caleb is doing the right thing, and follow for part 2 to see what happens when the HOA president shows up."